Okay, so thank you for joining me, Dr. Jason W. Morrison, Theologist, New South Wales, Australia. We're still working on Article 47, aren't we? And there's a picture of Garrett Loesch. There's a document. Let's just see if we can find the document where Garrett Loesch, I'm sure that's how you spell it, governing body. We'll put in governing body. Member. Have we got the right? There he is, Garrett Loesch. Okay, governing body member. I've got denies Watchtower in court document. Now this guy tried to save his ass in a court case. And we're just going to see if we can get the document. Most Jehovah's Witnesses consider the Watchtower Society to be almost synonymous with God's organisation. And this is why I'm talking about this now. Because we're talking about in the article. Where is my article? It's gone. Oh no, here. About the Watchtower being God's organisation, specific organisation, and it's a lie, absolute lie. So let me just go back. I want to find you that document where Loesch sells himself out. Let me just, what have I done there? Garrett Loesch, governing body, denies Watchtower. Okay, I do not answer the Watchtower. Now, we want the document. We want the court document. And I think we might have it. So this is what he says anyway. God's organisation, as such, they are to be obedient to all instructions passed down from its, as though they are receiving these words from Jehovah themselves. Now, Garrett Loesch is, I think he's the oldest member of the governing body. But at least one prominent Jehovah Witness now claims he does not answer to the Watchtower. Now, this is true. I've saw the document, and I'll find it before or after I finish reading this, and has even declared that Watchtower does not and never has had any authority over him. Who is this bold man, other than governing body member Garrett Loesch? Regular visitors to this site will call the recent lawsuit in which Watchtower received a $13.5 million judgment for its part in the abuse suffered by Jose Lopez at the hands of one of the Watchtower people, who was allowed to molest multiple victims in San Diego in the 80s and 90s without organisation's intervention under the Clergy Secrecy Act. They tried to cover it up, but this court didn't accept that. One of the reasons why the lawsuit went so badly for Watchtower was due to its failure to comply with court orders requesting, among other things, the organisation to produce the most senior governing member, Garrett Loesch, for a deposition. Now, Loesch, what you got to understand is, he renounced any connection with the Watchtower Society. He renounced it. I do not answer to the Watchtower. Boy, that leaves the Jehovah Witnesses vulnerable, doesn't it? When this and other reasonable requests of the court were flatly refused by Watchtower, they had restrictions placed on them, barring them from responding to the evidence put forward by Erwin Zolkin on Lopez's behalf. Now, the personal declaration of Garrett Loesch, in which he gives his reasons for refusing the court order, have been made available online. The signed 3-page document is viewable below. Is it? Let's see. Please let us see. Where's the document? Is this it? Okay, so let's just see if we can Google the document. Bear with me. Garrett Loesch. Court document. 'Cause, 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 'cause Let's see if this is it. Here it is. Here's the actual court document, certified for publication, Court of Appeal for. I'm sure this is the one. No, this is the whole document of the case. That's going to be too long. Maybe we can get it off Reddit. Let's just see. Where is this it? Here's the actual court document. Okay, now this is authoritative and authentic. This is Garrett Loesch. I, Garrett Loesch, declare as follows. I'm over 18 years of age, of a sound mind, and competent to make this declaration. I don't know if he is of a sound mind. He's a very deceptive man. I have personal knowledge of the matters contained herein, and they are all true and correct. Right, so he's by law over the Bible and under the Bible, declaring that what he is saying is true and not a lie. I provide this declaration to support the motion to squash order granting plaintiff's motion to compel the disposition of Garrett Loesch and the underlying notice of taking the disposition of Garrett Loesch for production of documents required, video recorded for use at trial. I call upon to testify in this civil action. I would provide the information contained in this declaration. I was not served with the notice of disposition, but I learned that plaintiff vacated the original disposition date after Watchtower objected to the notice. So Watchtower objected to the notice. Garrett Loesch has taken that on board. Oh, I'll go along with that. But he's not going along with the law. I recently learned that this court entered an order compelling Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, they've been sued, to produce me for disposition, but I have not been served with a copy of the court's order. I am a member of the ecclesiastical governing body of the Jehovah Witnesses and have been appointed to serve in that capacity on July 1st, 1994. I was not on the governing body in 1986 when the plaintiff alleges he was abused by Gonzalo Compas. Wow, isn't that a cop-out? The governing body of Jehovah Witnesses is the highest ecclesiastical authority for the faith of Jehovah Witnesses, and it exercises spiritual oversight for Jehovah Witnesses worldwide. Gosh, the poor old Jehovah Witnesses. I am not and never have been a corporate officer, director, managing agent, member or employee of the Watchtower. I do not direct and have not directed the day-by-day operations of the Watchtower. I do not answer to Watchtower, the Watchtower. I do not have and never have had any authority as an individual to make or determine corporate policy for Watchtower or any other department of Watchtower. Now, if that isn't a declaration of denial of membership and all the rest of it, this guy's just jumped ship. This guy's just jumped right out of the boat. What an evil, horrible man. And you can read the rest of this. There's his signature. And I will leave the link to this below. So when this guy was confronted by the law, this man holding up the Bible, he ran for it. He wanted nothing to do with the Watchtower. He had no responsibility within the Watchtower, this, that, and all the other. This guy, there's paragraph 8 of the document. This guy, man, he is an evil, evil man. He abandoned the Watchtower when they put him on the subpoena, or whatever it was. When they called him to court, he abandoned his station, that man. And this group reckons in 1919, Jesus appointed them as the faithful and discreet slave. Now, if we go to YouTube, watch this. Faithful and discreet slave. Let's see what happens. Oh, it'll just be massive. Should you trust the Watchtower, Part 3, who is the faithful slave? Ex-J.W. Elder, translator, exposes faithful and discreet slave governing body. Governing bodies faithful and discreet what? This is from Kim and Mikey, and I like Kim and Mikey. I think we'll go with Kim and Mikey on this.
Not only the faithful slave, but also the discreet slave.
Faithful and discreet, what?
Yep.
Boy, you know, this May JW broadcast truly is the gift that just keeps on giving.
Oh, yeah.
We have some more comments from previous videos regarding this broadcast that we would like to share, and then another really good scriptural thought that one of our viewers, Charlie, sent us an email, and we're going to build.
Sorry about the sound there, viewers. Continue on.
When I read your email, Charlie, it really got me to thinking about, oh my goodness, we can use this too, because we know how much Watchtower loves types and anti-types. We know how much Watchtower loves using the Bible. You know, something that happened 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, and how they love to bring it up to the modern application and how it applies specifically to Watchtower. So we're going to explore that after we go through a few more comments from Deep Throat.
Yeah.
I meant to say a couple of comments from Deep Throat, and I kind of got tongue twisted.
Kind of got blended together,
Yeah.
huh? Okay, this is called Watchtower's Over-Ambitious Plans. I was thinking about Let's most recent plea for more money. He's been doing that a lot.
Oh, yes. Well, that's what I mean. It's just a gift that just keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Because, you know, quite honestly, we just can't think of it all at once. We have to ponder over these things overnight, too.
I know. Good. He says, if you think about it, it really is absurd. If, and it's a gargantuan if, the Watchtower is indeed directed by God, as they claim, why couldn't God, in all his no, I can't
omnipotent.
Omniscient.
Right. Hey, Deep Throat. Use a word that I can pronounce.
Little words.
In God's vast wisdom, there we go.
Have seen ahead of time that his plans were too ambitious, leading to more money going out than what we have coming in. Apparently, Jehovah has been telling the governing body to build, yet he never once sat down to calculate the cost to see if Watchtower would actually be able to pay for all this stuff. God needs a good accountant. Or maybe their God Jehovah didn't see all the child abuse lawsuits coming up.
Yeah, maybe he didn't see that.
Ironically, the most powerful, almighty God of the universe apparently has been blindsided yet again, and rather than use his claimed omnipotent
vast powers
to fix the mess he created by some miraculous means, God has no recourse but to do what he has always done throughout man's history, namely beg for help from puny humans. Without the immediate mass infusion of cash from the poor, uneducated throngs of rank-and-file JWs, poor and uneducated, because that was God's sage advice. Don't get an education. Don't wisely plan for retirement. By all evidence, God will be up shit creek without a paddle again. Imagine what humans could accomplish if they didn't have to be constantly dedicating massive amounts of their time and money bailing God out of his self-created frequent conundrums, and they instead could get on with putting those resources towards fixing really important things like world hunger.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And then...
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Let's read what's coming, because we have to keep in mind with this May's broadcast of JW Clownology, you know, let's in front of the world of JWism saying, oh, we have looked into our future and, you know, we're going to build. These are all theocratic arrangements. We're going to build this and we're going to build that. But yet, what's coming out in the August 15th Watchtower Study Edition. Now keep in mind, Jehovah's Witnesses, Watchtower is looking to the future growth of Watchtower. But look at what's printed in the magazine that you're going to be studying soon.
Well, I was just going to say, we mentioned in a video like a month or two ago that they just bought a big, huge building for $6.1 million, if I remember correctly, for a new movie studio. $6.1 million, okay?
Yeah.
So, Watchtower, 8/15/2015. Let us therefore remain alert and fully aware that this system is rapidly nearing its end.
Rapidly nearing its end, but yet Let is saying we have looked into the future and see that there's more money going out than there is coming in at this time.
Okay? The Bible leaves no doubt about what our attitude should be toward the impending destruction of the system of things.
And you heard Let say it himself, give us more money.
Clearly, we are now living in the conclusion of the system of things, a limited period of time leading up to and including the destruction of this wicked system.
So you see, Jehovah's Witnesses, that's why you can afford to give Watchtower all your money right now. Because you're not going to need it, because you only have a limited time of period before this system ends.
Yeah.
So give it to Watchtower. Let them do what they wish with it.
Okay, upon recognizing that Christ's presence began in 1914, Jesus' followers
Invisibly, you know.
Yeah, rightly prepared for a possible early arrival of the end.
1914 to 2015 is an early arrival to the end.
They did so by intensifying their kingdom preaching work,
AKA donating more money.
Events on the world scene clearly indicate that Bible prophecy is now being fulfilled and that the end of this wicked system of things is imminent. The end of this entire system of things is not far off. Now, as Jehovah's Witnesses, we would, I hope Jehovah leaves that house up and standing after Armageddon, because I want to live there.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, we heard the comments from that Watchtower article. The end is just so close. It's imminent. They're using the same lines that they used just before 1975. Okay? They're using the same bullshit to stir the fear and the hysteria in the minds of Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay? But think about this, Jehovah's Witnesses. As this article is pointing out, the end is imminent. It's just around the corner. Then why in the hell are you so stupid as to listen to that clown Let say, we have more money going out than we have coming in at this time? Wait a minute, Jehovah's Witnesses. Keep your money, because the world is coming to an end tomorrow. Watchtower, the governing body, can just simply waltz in and take all this land for free. Hold on to your money. Why do they need all this money when it's imminent? It's right here.
Well, Hollywood. If Hollywood is going, if all the wicked people are going to be destroyed,
Hollywood has already got massive amounts of studios to produce the Watchtower crap. Just wait until the end comes, and then you'll have it all for free. Why are you stupid enough to pay for it all now?
Well, what are they using now? Isn't what you have now good enough?
No, apparently it's not good enough.
So we have Deep Throat's comments to this article. It says, words are cheap, Watchtower. If the end is impending, why are you continuing to build and expand your real estate and financial empire? Exactly. Why do you continue to beg JWs for more money?
You know why? Because the JWs are too stupid to realize that they're being led by a bunch of con artists.
Why have you embarked on numerous construction projects that will take 4 to 6 years to complete?
Exactly.
How does intensifying the preaching work fit into cutting Watchtower and Awake magazine issues and content in half?
Exactly.
And making the remaining content so dumbed down no intelligent human could possibly benefit by it? How does intensifying the preaching work correlate with closing branch offices, eliminating district overseers, cutting pioneer hours, and cutting auxiliary pioneer hours to a mere 30 hours per month? If the end is so close, impending, shouldn't you be focused on a last-ditch, all-out effort to warn the world like Harold Camping did in a mere 6 months, rather than invest more time, money, and resources into this doomed world?
Okay, now we're going to get to Charlie's comment.
Yes.
And
Thank you, Charlie.
Yes, I'm not really going... Well, yes, I will. He says, love the videos. I suddenly thought about the account in the Gospels where the rich young man came to Jesus and was told to sell all his belongings and give the material proceeds to the poor. The governing body has never been a group to sanction using its wealth to help in providing material aid to any other than its own. What? And then he quotes again Christ. What extraordinary thing are you doing if you love only those who love you? And even then, it's only when there are national disasters. Can't have pesky things like that affecting meeting attendance. Keep up the good work, Charlie. And you know, Charlie, after you sent us that comment, I really started thinking, and that's why at the beginning of this video I said faithful and discreet. What? You know, I really thought about what you were saying, Charlie. Let's just go to that account. I pulled it off of Mark's account. That's Mark chapter 10, and we'll start at verse 17. But see, here's the thing. We all know that Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower Bible Tract Society, loves type and anti-types. They love to take something out of the Bible that happened 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. You know, Noah was a preacher of righteousness. Well, and then apply it to today and make all Jehovah's Witnesses think that the only way they're going to get on this spiritual ark is to preach. And that's coming up in another video. But since Watchtower loves to call themselves the faithful and discreet slave, let's take another look at this account. Mark chapter 10, verse 17. And speaking of Christ, and I'm reading this from the New World Translation because we know Watchtower loves this. And as he was going out on his way, a certain rich man fell upon his knees before him and put the question to him. Good teacher, what must I do to inherit everlasting life? Jesus said to him, why do you call me good? Nobody is good except one, God. You know the commandments. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Do not defraud. Honor your father and your mother. The man said to him, Teacher, all these things I have kept from my youth on. Jesus looked upon him and felt love for him and said to him, there is one thing missing about you. Here's the thing, before I finish reading. Do you understand completely, do you comprehend, Watchtower, what is beginning to take place in this? Christ is at the point of inviting this young rich man to become part of the faithful and discreet slave. Think about it.
What Christ was doing, he was collecting them.
He was collecting the early followers, the beginning of that faithful and discreet slave. But this man had a problem, and Christ is pointing it out, and Christ is also telling him what he needs to do to also become part of that faithful and discreet slave. Jesus looked upon, beginning again at verse 21, Jesus looked upon him and felt love for him and said to him, one thing is missing about you. Go sell what things you have and give to the poor. You will have treasure in heaven and become my follower. he grew sad at the saying and went off grieved, for he was holding many possessions. After looking around, Jesus said to his disciple, how difficult a thing it will be for those with money to enter the kingdom of God. Wow. Here this man has an opportunity to truly become part of that faithful and discreet slave, handpicked by Christ himself. But the one thing was the money, the love of money. Now, I'm not sitting here telling anybody that a rich man cannot inherit the kingdom of God. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is that one of the criteria was to sell those riches and give it to the poor. Watchtower, over recent years, recent months, you have been selling off properties in New York by the tunes of millions upon millions upon millions of dollars.
And then you've got the nerve to beg for more.
What portion, as the faithful and discreet slave, have you given that money back to the poor? Not one red dime have you given back to the poor. So how can you in God's green earth sit here, my favorite little clownlet, and say, not only are we the faithful, but we're also the discreet slave, when you're begging for more friggin' money? Jehovah's Witnesses, can you not see how this typical, anti-typical man is really proving to be the evil slave? If you're looking for types and anti-types, the evil slave would do nothing to help the poor. And Watchtower is doing nothing to help the poor. But yet Watchtower will absolutely condemn the Catholic Church and all of their false teachings. But you know what? There's one thing the Catholic Church does do that Watchtower does not. And they do help the poor.
It's called the Catholic Social Services.
See, Watchtower? So you know what? Go screw yourself. That's all I have to say.
And on that thought, you all have a good weekend.
Bye.
You'll get no sympathy from me. You want sympathy? Look at the dictionary between shit and syphilis. That's where you'll find my sympathy.
We have to be conscious of this fact that many things can weigh us down. And that's the last thing we need today. Well, as Christians in the race for life, do we see or hear the signal that says to us, the race is on? It's time for us to move forward. Now, why is this important that we throw off excess material things? We've come to appreciate that Satan, the devil, uses materialism to distract and weaken us, and distractions can lead to destructions. If this happens, we risk burdening ourselves with unnecessary problems.
In doing the math, we found that the amount of money flowing out will be much greater than the amount of money that we have coming in at this time.
This is really no time for any of us to settle down in this dying world. Please, friends, do not focus on earning as much money as possible. It's important because when material pursuits become especially prominent or important in a person's life, regardless of the professed reason, that person is in danger of losing his precious relationship with God.
And you can watch the rest of that video if you like later. So, in 1919, Jesus appointed a small group of anointed brothers as the faithful. That is a lie. That is a theologically abusive lie. And I'll leave that there. I'll put the links below. We'll come back to paragraph 16 in the next theological audit. Was this a fail or a pass for the Watchtower? It was a miserable fail. Bye for now.